All right, everybody, we are back and we are live to get over the MLB DFS slate for Tuesday, September 2nd. We got 9 games on tap. It's going to be a fun one. And before we get into it, come join us at LineStar, your one-stop shop for props, DFS, best ball. We got it all. And it is only $39.99 per month, gets you access to all we do, the props, the DFS. You get it all for one low price. Come join us. And the September to remember, as good old Brandon says. Come join us. Best spot to do it. No better deal in the industry. I'm your host, Tyler Wiemann. Now, let's dive into it. Yesterday's slate was a bit funky. The main slate on DraftKings was 10 games. The main slate on FanDuel was 3 games. So we're going to just skip the review and dive straight into it and get to our pitchers to consider, our high-owned pitchers, our pivots, all that kind of good stuff. Now, starting with Shota, 26% owned. He's 9,500. He is versus the Braves. 4.49 FIP over his last 20 with a 2.85 ERA. He is one of those pitchers that just always gets away with it. And you can see it in the last 5 also. 2.65 ERA, 3.66 FIP, 26% K rate. Shota has a very high ceiling, but over the longer term, his K rate isn't that high. He has games, though, where he goes nuts and gets a ton of Ks. He is allowing a ton of fly balls, decent amount of barreled balls over the last month or so. And then split-wise, Atlanta's been hitting. Now, one aspect is that Profar, one of their hottest hitters, is on the paternity list. He is not expected to play today, and that will bring down some of these splits. Profar has just been on absolute fire, but as a whole, they're getting on base, not hitting the ball hard, not striking out a ton, but the numbers over the longer time frame aren't that great with the 22% K rate. All in all, I'm fine with some Shota. I don't absolutely love the spot for him, but he is definitely one of the pitchers to consider on this slate. And really, there's 4 or 5 guys that are all priced up, and you're probably going to want to mix and match them. It's not like one spot really stands out over the rest, but I definitely am interested in Shota. Next, we got Max Fried, 9,800, 25% owned. Hello, Jeff. Hello, Mad Zero. Good seeing both you guys in here on this great Tuesday morning after a little 3-day weekend. Hope you guys all took advantage of the extra time and loved it. And then now it is time to really get down to work because we got football starting this week. Also, a reminder, I'm going to do a prop show this afternoon for the Thursday night game. We got a 3.37 FIP over the last 20, 3.81 over the last 5, and he's been getting a bit unlucky with a 5.2 ERA. Mad, yes, we are all winning today. 23% K rate over both time frames. He's been pitching a little bit better. He struggled a little bit recently, but he's coming out of that. He is averaging 30% less fantasy points while away, but all in all, I like the spot. I'm not too scared by Houston just because Fried, when he's on, is very, very good. But he has struggled with Houston in the past. 300 average, 143 ISO, 332 WOBA, only a 15% K rate. In general, Houston's been very good versus lefties, so it is not an easy spot. It's, not too much different than Shota, where it's not the most comfy spot, but the ceiling does warrant playing him. The other thing I did not mention with Shota is the winds are blowing in Wrigley, which obviously does affect his fly ball rate quite a bit. All in all, I think Fried's in a fine spot. Shota's in a fine spot. Don't mind either of them. If I had to pick between the two, I would prefer Shota, though. He's lower priced, a little better matchup. Winds are blowing in to help with that fly ball rate he has. Next, we got Brian Wu, 10.5K. We have been all over this guy all season long. 3.86 FIP over his last 20, 2.61 over his last 5. His K rate has been 31% over the last 5, 25.5 over the last 20. Now, he is away in a very pitcher-friendly ballpark, and that might make his 34% hard hit rate or hard contact rate play down a little bit. All in all, I think Woo's a fine start, but he is worse away, and it's a very hitter-friendly ballpark. So while the matchup is better than Shata and Fried, the ballpark is a big downgrade compared to where he generally pitches. Brian Woo has been way too good and way too consistent, though, not to consider. Do I think Camerino is a good homer pick versus Woo? I don't mind it. Woo does give up some fly balls. He gives up some hard contact. So the potential is there. He just doesn't allow that many home runs. However, when he's off, the ball can fly. He allowed 4 versus the A's. I think you can go that way. It is going to be an elevated price on that Camerino home run. So I don't mind it. Just don't go too hard on that bet, as home run bets in general, are only going to hit 20-ish% of the time. Maybe less, actually. All in all, I don't mind some Woo. Jeff, I don't mind if you want to take that bet either. When you go against a good pitcher, you're getting better prices. So, you have a little more leash to play with them. Next, we got Logan Webb, 23% owned. And yes, Matt, it is dangerous. Logan Webb, another pitcher, has been incredible all year. 3.11 FIP over his last 11. 3 FIP over his last 5. K rates in that mid-20s. He keeps the ball on the ground, which definitely does benefit, a pitcher or in a ballpark like Coors. And the splits, Woo's in a good spot. Don't mind some Woo. The only issue is that it is in Colorado. He has a 24% combined K rate. And if we look at what he's done in Colorado, last year he gave up 4. The year before had 8 innings, 1 earned run, 6 Ks. Then another one where it's 5.1, 4 earned run, 3 Ks. That's kind of how it's been for him for his career, where he's had 1 game in the season where he gives up 3 or 4, 1 game where he's very good. Kind of pick your poison as far as where you want to go or what you think for him here. Now, all in all, I think it's an interesting spot. It's just it's Colorado. Do you want to bite that Coors effect? Go after a pitcher that's going to be a little lower owned than he should be in this spot, but has fared okay. At 9K with his price down, I don't mind some Logan Webb. I think he's a very interesting way. And then Yu Darvish, 6,700, 22% owned. I think Yu is too low priced in this spot. While I do like him, I also don't mind some stacks versus Baltimore. 55% fly ball rate, decent barrel balls to batted. The Orioles can definitely get 2 righties, 330 WOBA, 160 ISO. They do strike out a lot. So I think this is one of those spots that I don't mind playing both sides. Worst 2 pitchers in today in terms of ERA, expected hits allowed. There's a lot of pitchers we can really pick on, and we'll get into that a little bit more later. So Yu's very interesting. We got to talk about Framber just because he's the last of those high-priced pitchers. Guy's been excellent all season long, and the splits versus Yankees are just decent. They are hitting the ball very, very hard versus lefties, as they have all season long. But they can also strike out, so there is some upside, even though it is a tough matchup, which I don't mind taking some. Now, our 2 last pivots. We got Joey Wentz at 6,500 versus the Cubs. Reminder, winds are blowing in. He's allowing 39% hard contact, but he is keeping the ball on the ground a bit. Are some line drives, allowing a decent amount of barreled balls, but look, 3.89 FIP over his last 20, 3.45 over his last 5. His upside is limited, but he has been decent with the Braves and has shown a little bit of a ceiling, and Cubs haven't been hitting well lately. So I'm interested in this spot. Low owned 6,500. You could definitely get different. The issue, our projection, consensus, way low on him. This guy is going to be very, very low owned, but I see some upside. And then Michael Lorenzen versus the Angels. Been pitching super well lately. 2.91 FIP over his last 5, 25% K rate. Over the longer time frame, he's an average pitcher. It's Michael Lorenzen, nothing to write home about. But the splits very much in his favor. Angels been striking out 29%, low average, hitting the ball hard as they always do, but also not really getting on base. I think it's a very interesting spot where we can get a little different and still get some upside. He does have games where he puts up high 20s or in the 30s and at 7,500. It's very interesting. Don't mind getting there. Our highest projected spots, our FanDuel highest owned, Shata, Brian Wu, Fried. No surprise there. It's actually Darvish and Webb. Darvish is just 7,600 and still gives you access to a ceiling. Webb, don't mind going there, but I would prefer at similar price going to Wu, paying down, go to Shata or Framber instead of going with Coors, but I don't mind attacking Coors with Webb today. As far as some, higher ERA pitchers that I'm interested in stacking against, Freebomb, 5.11 FIP, high fly ball rate. It's in Coors. Don't mind that. Devers is super hot, even though it's don't mind that one. Have to get your opinion on Adames Ramos Chapman. Well, it is Adames's birthday today. I think it's his 30th. So there is the home run or the birthday narrative if you want that. Ramos been hitting well. Chapman hasn't been hitting good, but it is Coors. Wind is blowing in slightly at Coors today, mid-70s temp-wise. I'm fine going that way. I don't generally like to bet home runs in Coors. One, the ball does fly, but the ball flies in that park, but it's also a very, very big stadium. So guys still have to hit the ball pretty hard to get a home run there. And usually prices are down because everybody wants to bet Coors. So I generally stay away from betting home runs in Coors. Rasmussen is an interesting pivot. Yes, he is interesting. I don't mind it. I just don't like it on FanDuel at 9,200, but dude has been dealing 3.0 FIP with a 24% K rate, just high fly ball rate versus a team that hits the ball very, very hard. That's my issue there. So also we do got to worry about some weather in Minnesota, but I love trying to pick on Simeon Wood Richardson or Davis Martin today. Don't mind going against Tyler Wells versus San Diego in San Diego. He hasn't been that great, and Padres versus righties are going to be pretty good. Severino, I do not mind going with either at 8,200. He came out, pitched super well in his first time off the IL. He is better while he is away. That 2.69 FIP is interesting. However, over the longer term, the FIP before 16% K rate is a little bit troublesome to me. I think that K rate is very, very low. Yes, Colson Montgomery is absolutely on fire, Jeff. All in all, I think Severino is okay. At 8,200, I worry about the ceiling on DraftKings. However, at 6,200, I am very glad you brought him up. I'm worried about a ceiling on FanDuel. At 6,200 on DraftKings, I like that pivot, and he was definitely one of the pivots I was considering going with versus Cardinals, who really don't scare me whatsoever. Now, let's get into some stack attacks. Now, to answer Zero's question, worst two pitchers today in terms of ERA. So look, over the last 20, the worst two pitchers for ERA is Joey Wentz and Kyle Freeland. Now, ERA, I don't love as a stat because it's not taking in kind of everything. I would prefer FIP. And if with that, you got Mikolas versus the A's and who else here? Go down the line. Oh, we got a lot of Mikolas stacks popping up. We can go this way then. Pitcher last 20 and FIP. So Simeon Woods Richards would be the second lowest FIP over the last 20 with 5.32. So, all right, let's get back into the stacks. Highest projected own, we got the Giants. No surprise. With versus Kyle Freebaum, not very good. We call him Freebaum for a reason. Devers is on absolute fire right now. Guy is hitting home runs left and right. Has 2 in the last 2 days. Had a 2 home run game last week. Is 1 for 3 with a home run off Devers. The bullpen's terrible. Off Freeland. There's a ton of reasons to go to different Giants. Then you have birthday narrative for 30 years old today for Willy Adames. Definitely like the Giants play today. And then our highest projected, no surprise, we got Giants all over that as well, as they are in Coors, always project pretty high. Arizona, not totally sure who we're going to see for Texas today, but Arizona is hitting very well. We have a game total of 9.5, only 1 point off Colorado. So definitely have some interest in that game as well. High value plays. We got Texas versus Kismet. I'm interested in this. Kismet has been good actually with a 3.19 FIP, but I don't mind having a little bit. That Arizona bullpen is just awful behind him. Our high ceiling plays. We got Yankees versus Framber and the Braves versus Shota. Shota is a little boom bust. He can give up some big games, so I don't mind picking on Shota a little bit. Leverage, we got Yankees, Houston, and Seattle. I don't mind some Seattle versus Rasmussen. He's been pitching very, very good, but he does allow some fly balls. It's a pitcher-friendly park. I don't mind it. Sox stack, ATL stack, or ATH stack, the A stack, I don't mind either. I think the White Sox are a very interesting spot. Montgomery is on fire. A's are an interesting punching bag of Mikolas. Yeah, exactly what Brandon was saying. Those two pitchers have been our favorite punching bags. Don't mind going back to it. Now let's click our teams tab here to round it all out. Our highest implied run total, 6.1 for the Giants, 5.1 for Minnesota, 4.9 for Royals, 4.8 for Diamondbacks. Now, we got to worry about some weather in Minnesota, so make sure you look at the weather report closer to lock. Giants full run higher than everybody. It's a decent amount. I think they're in a very good spot. I'm going to get some Giants without a doubt. Minnesota at 5.1. If that game looks like it's going to go, There is some PPD concern. Definitely there is concern for a delay at the minimum. So definitely don't want to go with either of those pitchers, which I don't think you would anyways, because they're not very good. But makes some sense to want some Minnesota. KC, bullpen for the Angels is terrible, and I do think they're calling up a guy for today. I don't mind going with some KC. Arizona, we talked about, we like. Cubs at 4.7. I do think 4.7 may be a little higher. I like Wentz as a pitcher with the Braves. He's looked okay. Now, he's not all that great, so I don't mind stacking against him. The Cubs do seem like they've been starting hitting, but maybe there's a little bit of the Coors hangover a little bit as well. I think Padres at 4.7 versus righties, interesting. Texas, very interesting. Colorado, it's in Coors, so obviously some interest there. White Sox at 4.4, one of my favorite lower implied total stacks. St. Louis, I don't love it versus Severino. Don't mind it a little bit. A's at 4.2, I think is very interesting. I'm going to get some A's as they hit the ball hard. You get a couple home runs. That stack starts to look pretty interesting. And then if we go down the list here, not really loving anything, but I would absolutely get some Baltimore, maybe a little Braves down here as well. That's going to do it for us today. We will be back about 11:15 or so for the prop show. And then this afternoon, we will have the NFL prop show for Thursday night football. Jeff Dinger of the Days and the prop show coming out shortly. You all have a good one. We'll be back in a little bit. Hope you had a great weekend. Let's make some money today. Talk to y'all later. Peace.